All right, everyone of all ages, how are we feeling tonight? Welcome to the High School Poetry Slam at the Barron Arts Center. Yes, my name is Chris Rockwell. I will be your host for this evening. How are we? Can we hear me okay? Is that a thing? Everyone can hear me? Okay, cool. Sweet. It is on. I promise you that, but it's a little bit. We can maybe turn the mic up a little bit. That's the knob all the way to the right. Just a little bit. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll fix it. All right, a little bit better? Good? Wonderful. We're feeling good tonight. I am psyched. This is the Slam where we see JFK versus Colonia versus Woodbridge in a head-to-head bout. Are we psyched? Yeah. You gotta make me believe it. Yeah, this isn't no old school poetry. This is a Slam. We would like to begin by thanking the Cultural Arts Commission. Can we give them a round of applause? They're the reason why this happens. And also for Mayor McCormick, super supportive of everything that we do. The Cultural Arts Commission is why we have cool events like these, and also Poets Wednesday, which is a monthly poetry reading right here at Barron Arts, which as of right now is the longest currently running poetry reading in the history of America, right here in Barron Arts Center. Give it up for that. That's amazing. That's pretty sweet. What's going to happen is we are going to have, it's a competition where the poets are going to come up and recite their own work, and then they're going to be judged by our judges. I'm going to introduce our judges, and they're going to come up and do a poem of theirs each. How's that sound? Cool. Oh, they like it. They were like, yeah, they're about it. I'm going to give you like my version of your bios. That's just like how it pertains to me. So, because that's what I'm about. So the first judge is named Mukali Words. I met her doing several readings around the state and love her work. And I invited her to do my book launch party in October, and she came and crushed it. And we've been friends, but also poets orbiting around each other ever since. And I'm very excited to have her here tonight. Please give it up for Mukali Words.
Greetings. So first of all, thank you so much, Chris, for inviting me out here. I'm excited to be here. So this first piece this only piece, is meant to be inspiration. How many of you have had long weeks before in your lifetime, right? Yeah. So I wrote this during one of those sorts of weeks. Lights low, offering up an amber aura in the living room, letting there be light, keeping the atmosphere appropriate for creation, let there be light. Wait till the night has nothing more to do than let you be with you and your thoughts and the couch you deem throne that you might be properly propped for your crowning achievements. Let there be incense to offer up sensual scent and smoke to pair with elevation. It's a groove. It's a move away from the fast-paced list of things to do and places to be. It's a chance to dance your gel ink across pages that have always been your safest spaces. It's a rhythm. The beat matches life song, matches the humming that happens when you take heart. The beat be breaking barriers around the brain and letting thought flow free. Mental soliloquy, it's a rhythm that rights the wrongs of the weak and puts strong hands to tense places and opens up a space for wings to grow when you're ready for them. Here, where candlelight provides enough fire to ignite an internal review on how you are, lets you be the star of your concerns, and congratulations on sometimes being the bright of the best constellations. You be a compilation of light and love. Here you remember who you are and what this is. It's a groove. You be dancing to the beat of your own drum. Here you remember you are the music you make. Gravity don't live here. Here you remember that gravity don't live here. The promise that you might fall, share space with the possibility that you fly or spread wings, or that you might fall and remember your resilience. Either way, you win. It's a groove. Stretch before you break into your newest move. It's a groove. Give your dreams energy here. Silence the fear and let motivation have the mic for a while. Cause it's a groove, it's a vibe. It's what victory feels like when you put the pieces of you back together again and the bass from your deepest self booms and the soprano of your soul breaks glass ceilings and you find yourself You find yourself flowing out of glasses half full into spaces once empty. Reciprocity be the rhythm, gratitude be the groove, life be the stage. You be the creators of the script on the page. Here you remember to act accordingly. Thank you.
Keep it going for Macaulay words. Our next judge I was introduced to by Nourish Cruz, actually, who was the first place winner of the slam at the Woodbridge Poetry Festival. She's a longtime friend of mine. And I connected with this poet and I said, hey, want to come to a reading? And she just showed up and was awesome. And then ever since then, we've been super tight, and I'm so pumped that she's here tonight. Please put your hands together for Kelso Nichols.
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that. Hi guys, I'm Kelso. I don't usually memorize things, but I'm gonna give it a whirl, all right? I got short-term memory, you know. All right, so this piece is called Mothers. I have been writing for a really long time, and I try to go out of my way to capture voices that aren't mine. So this is called Mothers. Frustration lifted from the backs of ancient promises. I'm gifted, but unable to produce art. Swimming in baskets of water like those that matrons carry on top of their heads, held by tired, stiff necks, mothers walking miles. Snow never falls here, but we are cold, drenched in clouds and forgotten covenants of those just passing by. Strangers in the night, outsiders never seeking to nourish. When tragedy breaks, they look to me for a warm blanket of words to slumber in and a cup of hot stew to feed their swollen bellies. But I am just one of many. I am not queen. They all say I'm gifted, but what good is any of that when my gifts are useless here? Thank you.
Keep it going for Kelso! This next poet I saw, believe it or not, at a pop-up show in a yoga studio in Newark, like 2 years ago. And since then, I've been following what he's doing. He's got some cool things going, especially his series at 2Qs, which I'm sure he'll tell you all about a little later. But please put your hands together and welcome tonight, Ras Haru.
Good evening. I'm a little shorter, so I have to adjust this. Again, my name is Ross Rue. Can we clap for Chris Rockwell? And also the poets and competitors here tonight, and also for yourselves. I thank you again for having Macaulay and I out here. I dedicate this poem and inspiration to our competitors tonight. Hands, heavy with the weight of my decisions, life filled with the conquest of my ambitions. I wonder if this is what it means to thrive. To place one foot in front of the next and step upon ledge as if the air has arms stretched just waiting to reward me for my desire to fly, though truthfully, I don't know why I want wings. I can't decide my reason for wanting to rival the birds. Maybe it is to know how it feels to be weightless. Maybe it is to be assured that I am a burden no longer. Maybe it is to remind myself that I am one with the clouds. Maybe I've just convinced myself that I've earned my right to breathe air. Maybe oxygen and I have a bond I can't explain. Maybe flight is all I know. Maybe elevation is my only address. Maybe I am not meant to come down. Maybe the winds have other plans for me. Hopefully the day I finally touch down, I can die happy to have written such poems. Happy to have lived life in altitude. Happy to have seen turbulence. Happy to have tumbled and tussled with the whirlwinds. Happy to have seen eye to eye with the tornadoes. I hope the sky cracks and the rains fall the day I'm ushered to the dirt. I hope the soil can understand how even in death I remain one with the elements. I hope that I sleep tight, that I might find my place amongst the gravel, that the stones may look upon me and see kin, that I might be considered food for both the minerals and the memories. Remember consistently for the chaos, for the magic and the madness, for the poems like liquid and the words like wings, the one who sang of things like love. He who told you straight lines didn't exist, he who couldn't resist the temptation of the clouds, he who told you to live loud. To be bold in how you step and rep for the ones who too desire higher heights, I humbly ask that you might consider me your pilot. But be sure that you are securely strapped in, as this flight will not be interrupted just because you were not ready. This aerial caravan will never give a if you're scared, and besides. Yeah, y'all got me on that one. How can one say they've really lived life without the thrill of uncertainty? How can anyone be sure of anything without exploring the unknown? I guess that's why I find my home amongst the birds. Maybe the rivalry between us is but a shared competitive passion for soaring above the sensical and mundane. Maybe we both share love for stretching out limbs in order to be guided by the gods, looking down, scoffing at conventional wisdom, laughing at what the world told us we ought to be. Forever elated that the shackles that grow from barren land can never ascend high enough to catch us by our ankles, and determined to live life as both a whisper in the wind and a roaring reminder that freedom is nothing if not the genuine belief that we humans too have the ability to fly. Thank you.
Raz Haru, everyone. Now we know our judges. So now we have to figure out what a slam is. Make some noise if you've been to a poetry slam before. Ooh, nice. Okay, we got a nice. So for those of you who haven't, and for those of you who need refreshers, here's what's going down. We have 8 competitors from 3 high schools. They're going to come up here. Our judges are going to listen to the poems and score them from 0 to 10. 0 is the worst score you can give a poet. It's the worst poem you can ever imagine hearing. If someone writes a poem that's a 0, they need to stop writing poetry forever. Forever. Okay. 10 is the best score that can be given to a poet. If someone gets a 10, everyone else needs to stop writing poetry. We figured it out, we're good. We have the best perfect poem, we don't need any more. In between there, you can use decimal points, so there will be a 6.9, 5.8, 3.3. We all got that? We're cool? Okay, there's a 3-minute time limit, so poets, watch yourselves, don't go over time. And there's no props, costumes, animal acts, I don't know, don't do anything weird. Get weird, but not that kind of weird, you know. So, yes, you can read off your paper, yes. You can read your poems. You can bring anything that you need to read, that's fine. And what am I missing? If this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight. What else are the rules? All right, so this is also part of it. Everyone in here is part of the slam, whether you're on stage or not. If you hear something you like, what do you do? Yeah, see, they know. We in it. All right. If you hear a score that you like, what do? We can clap it. Yeah. You hear a score that was the perfect score for the perfect poem? Make noise. Let me hear it. Yeah. What if you hear a score you don't like? Yeah, you can boo. Listen, we're all part of it. The judges are going to give scores, but your job as an audience is to sway the judges. Okay? Sway the judges. Judges, don't be swayed. Don't let it happen. All right? I like to start fights. That's what So, are we ready to have a poetry slam? Yeah. Are we ready to have a poetry slam? Yeah. No, we're not. No, you thought. We need a practice round for our judges. We need one poet to come up and go first and get scored, just so they have like a practice round and everyone sees how this works. Okay? And that poet is me. So I'm going to do a poem, and then we're going to get, I'm going to be the sacrificial, that's fine. I'm going to be the sacrificial poet for the night, and then we're going to get some scores. You told me that the trick is to picture the apple and explode it, as if to shoot it with a bullet and photograph it with a high-speed 70mm camera at 400 frames per second to study it, that's the way to good writing. But I don't know how to explode this moment, or even if I want to. Intact, we are sitting in a diner. Your spoon is caressing your mug like skates on a frozen pond. Your hair sweeps in front of your face like a slow willow tree. Your lips are spray painted on. I'm trying to reverse engineer the way that you look at me, to figure out the inner workings of your glance by taking it apart. If I explode this moment, it dies prematurely. But if I don't, our waitress Debbie is gonna come around and keep pouring out the coffee from the fountain of youth while the neon sign outside goes blinking into oblivion and my wit is exhausted. This is the first time I wrote a poem for a poet I swore was better than me. This is the first time I let my tongue soak in its own blood between my teeth just to hear you sing like a house sparrow about your job and your son, and your faith in the passion people die for. Everything is flammable. Nothing is stable. Your smile is an aching detonator. When you asked me to go outside with you for a smoke, I could have sworn you pulled out a stick of dynamite. But I went anyway. Thank you. Thank you. All right, judges, you're gonna get 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, from lowest to highest, we have an 8.5, we have a 9, and we have a 9.5. We feel okay about these scores, I guess? Okay, that's cool. Giving us a total score of 27. Thank you very much. As always, you will applaud the poet, not the scores. So now, are we ready for a slam? Yeah. Now, are we ready for the slam? That's what I'm talking about. Okay. First poet, first round, from JFK High School, Shri Chandrasekhar.
My first poem is titled Before You Reach the End. What if I read you a story starting once upon a time and you realized it was your whole life spelled out on every line? Would you hear my voice with wonder as it brushed across each word and pray my arms had the strength to hold the truth about your world? Would your view of life be different? And would it shock you most to find that the things you thought defined you could be summed up in just 2 lines? All the ones you took for granted, the whips and scorns of every day, they play a bigger part in who you are than you would ever dare to say. Would you wonder at the pages left and all the places that they'll lead? Then vow to make each moment one that you'd be proud to read? Because there is a story of your life, but it's you that holds the pen, and I hope you fill the pages right before you reach the end. Thank you.
Keep it going for Sri, everyone. Okay, judges. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, from lowest to highest, we have a 7.8. Okay, 2 claps, that's not bad. No, be true to yourself. If you like it, yeah, good, stay excited. A 7.8, an 8.2, and an 8.4, which gives us a total score of 24.4. As always, applaud the poet. Next up from Colonia High School, we have Delata Darkshade Clark.
Hello, everyone. I will be reading my poem that I titled, We Will Rise. When we let our boys cry, and then our men, we will rise. As one with the sun, the lion's mane covers the mysteries hidden behind those eyes. The promised land with hoes filled down to their toes, and Lord only knows what goes down in those places. The sad case is expelling liquid fluid to show one's emotions, to get out the toxins while yelling and hopping, breaking and clashing. I choose all of the above. When we let our girls fight, and then our women, we will rise as one with the moon, the magic that hides behind that mind. The words of tough bitches who fight with both fists. Yes, dancing and laughing because we are exuberant and strong. Unlike yesterday, I stand here today watching a miracle. Men and girls, boys and women, swirling and blending as moons and suns, creating a new universe. Satellite captures this from above. Thank you.
Keep it going for Delita. All right, judges, we need some scores. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, from lowest to highest, we have a 7.9, a 7.9, and an 8.5, and an 8.5, which gives us a total score of 24.3. As always, we applaud the poet. Next up from Woodbridge High School, we have Gianna DeMarco.
Houses are built only upon a reliable foundation. Homes and temples are sisters in relation. They are both sacred and meant to be kept clean from the evils of the world. You are safe in a home. You know nothing of the dangers that lurk outside and wait for access to your soul's sanctuary. People can be homes. People can be safety nets and security blankets. You were always who I came to at night when the thunder crashed and negativity seeped under the door. You were more than a light surrounded by darkness. You were the sun and all of God's angels. You were safety. But our home burned. Our safety was taken from us. Somehow, we adjusted to the fierce temperature. We lived in comfort in the flames, content in all that we were. In this paradise of anarchy that we live in, you and I sunbathe in the reflection of hell's fire, basking, comfortable. We have found our peace.
Keep it going for Gianna DeMarco. All right, judges. 5, 4, 3. Okay, cool. Now you're only getting 3 to 1. That's it. Okay, from low to high, we have an 8.5, which we feel okay about, I guess. That's good. Someone just went an 8.8 and a 9. There's a 9. Giving us a total score of
26.3.
26.3. Applaud the poet. Next up from JFK High School, we have Novelle Morris.
This microphone is not going to match my height. There we go. Okay, so this poem is called Thelma and. I used to write about her freckles. I saw them as constellations or points on a map that I would one day trace to lead myself home. I wanted to spend hours and hours devoting my time to the parts of herself that she found ugly. And my hands were meant to worship, to pay homage to every time that she played guitar and I would melt into my telephone screen, listening as she lulled me to sleep. I was hers the way they were in movies. It was like when I saw her, I felt everything The Notebook was supposed to make me feel if I'd ever watched it. And when she would grace me with a drop of her affection, my pride would shrivel. I was weak, and she was a shining light in my pitch-black brain. And then it all fell apart. And suddenly, my hands had no purpose. All the lights in my brain were turned off and I was left stumbling in the dark. The weight of feeling her in my arms and nothing at all was enough for them to bend and break. Her affection slipped from me the way all good dreams do. And thanks to her, I found something else to do with my hands. I built myself up and I crawled tooth and nail from the hole I dug myself into a long time ago. And that hole that she left in my chest, I filled with some self-respect. I am a creature that is meant to be loved, and I will try each and every day to love myself more than I ever loved anything about her. Heartbreak is just a chance to rebuild everything that shattered. Heartbreak is how we find the tools to fix ourselves. Heartbreak hurts, but so does being a kicked puppy for the rest of your life. Heartbreak is the only thing that somehow helped me sew the pieces of myself together when every part of my being was strung across her bedroom floor. And now, I don't see freckles as constellations. And my hands are for myself. And I will make art, and I will share love, and I will love myself.
Keep it going for Novell. All right, judges, doing work. Okay, from lowest to highest, we have a 9, a 9.2, and a 9.2, which gives us a 27.4. As always, we applaud the poet. Next up, also from JFK High School, Sahil Sanan, everyone.
The first poem I'm sharing today is called #Justice. Why is it that situations only become prevalent when there are hashtags to follow? For it is the hashtag that embraces the epitaph of the tombstone for justice, but not the memories and the pain associated with it. Words of wisdom spoken only after death, but never while the people of interest are well. For we know not the taste of heaven, nor the smell of hell. But if there's another story to tell, in which the news tells, it will not be a memoriam of, but #justice to follow. Thank you.
Keep it going for Sahil! Okay, judges, what say you? From lowest to highest, we have a 7.4, a 7.5, and a 7. We're all, they're clapping for it. That's okay, they're clapping for it. That's it. Which gives us, call them up again. A 21.9. 21.9, but as always, we applaud the poet. And next up, from Woodbridge High School, Jalen Rodriguez.
Okay, hi. She made a friend. She shook his hand, and with that, she gave herself entirely. She allowed him to break her down to her finest bits with the touch of their palms. He dressed in black, and his smile painted her with warm colors. The bad intentions were masked by the words that leaked from his lips. "I'll kiss you," he said, "because you're starving for it." She had never understood the uncomfort surrounding depression, so she let him wrap his arms around her in a way that could easily be mistaken as safe. She loved him like she was making up for lost time, but she couldn't see the smoke that was emanating from the gaps in his teeth. He feasted on the skin of her neck, and he made her dance to the sound of her body singing about him. He wound himself into her until her blood was sore. "You will be better," he whispered, "better than you were." She was not the kind of person that things happened to, and now her atlas of emotions was unraveling. She tangled herself so tightly around him, her altitudes were changing, ears exploding with commotion. He was all teeth, but she did not know that before she kissed him. He choked her in her sleep so she couldn't break his fingers. "I will devour you," he said, "until there's nothing left but crumbs." She did not fall for him. He found her on the floor, soaked in a river of her own sadness. It was a pleasure watching you drown.
Keep it going for Jalen, everyone. Okay, judges, from low to high, we have an 8.5. And, okay, we're just a little. And a 9 and a 9.5, which I believe gives us a 27. As always, we applaud the poet. Next up from Woodbridge High School is Eliza Brew.
My generation is falling in love with everything. We devour romantic movies for dinner and eat away at the goodness of social media like it's our last meal. Silently starving for comfort, we scour the earth to the next closest ounce of happiness, even if the consequence is subjecting our heads to brutal warfare. We barely save ourselves with the thoughts of a better tomorrow. How are people hurting and loving each other at the same time? Hearts became tape recorders saying I love you, trying to remember the last time it was said because every time after is just a shadow. We should love people quietly. Our solace would lie in the galaxy of their eyes. Maybe loving someone too loudly is the problem because getting lost in everyone's static hurts. And before we know it, we drown in the tides of their emotions surrounding us, and the words leaving our lips are just air, and we're gasping for it. We are fixated on the idea of a good time and confused it with recklessness. How do we love people the right way? To some, it's a stomach full of lies disguised as promises and morning breath that tastes like coffee with a hint of a bad apology. We miss the warmth beneath our fingers when we touch their skin because the cold from our hands kept hurting the people around us. And we start believing that half bad is just good enough, and arguments stop ending in screaming but with the closing of doors. Being left in a room alone, we wonder why we got caught up in the chaos. No energy should be wasted on the inevitable. We can't tell what love looks like from far away. The blurriness doesn't sort out the people with half-broken hearts who want others to feel their pain. Those romantic movies were not the real thing.
Keep it going for Eliza. All right, judges, do the thing. From lowest to highest, we have a 7.5, an 8.4, and an 8.9. Giving us a grand total score of 24.8. As always, applaud the poet. Our last poet in the first round, please put your hands together. From Colonia High School, Amelia Curia.
Hello, so this is a poem I wrote called Under a Microscope. They want to put me on drugs, but I am not a specimen. Or am I? If I am so-called mental, then do I have the right to think correctly? My thoughts belong to others, my actions belong to myself. I truly don't have a say, do I? So what? Drug me. Take my personality to the grave. Give me a mind that does not hate me, but that is not me. Tell me I'm now okay in your eyes, but meanwhile I won't have my own. I put my hands in a casket, buried it, and sent it off with your daughter. You didn't even show up to the funeral. It rained that day. The petrichor filled the air as reality set in, but nevertheless, I ask, are you thinking about me? Is this torture a way for you to feel better about yourself? Is my downfall comic relief to you, or am I only a lonely aside? Huh? Is this what you wanted? Was this your master plan to have me not be able to see the world because of how many tears are in my eyes, to put me on a cold metal table and poke me to see if I move, to scalpel me till I bleed out all your insecurities that you see in me, the indefinable pain you put me through, thinking I won't feel it? Like a puppeteer, you pull my strings back and forth, but one day they will snap like my sanity. I am not a specimen. I am me until you make me not me. No, I am not a specimen. I am someone who's been seeing the pain for years, and nothing can take it away without taking me away with it. So maybe you're the source of problem, the one who makes me want to crawl up and bang my head against the wall to see if maybe the thoughts will just fall out like the tears in my ducts. But what if I turned the tables and made you the lab rat? Huh. I would, but The tables are straight, glued to their base. So I thought, was this my fate? I mean, I was born this way. Isn't that right? So who do I blame? I blame you, the one who has made me a test subject. I blame you, the one who deals with the same thing but chooses to deny it as if it'll make things better. I blame you, the one who has made me a specimen, when really you are too. Even when I say I forgive you over and over, you have to realize that I will never fully forgive because I'm not in the right mind to do so. Isn't that right? Thank you.
Keep it going for Amelia. Okay, judges. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, from lowest to highest, we have an 8.3, an 8.8, and an 8.9. It's such a beautiful crowd. Which gives us a total score of 26. As always, applaud the poet. And let's applaud all of our poets in the first round. So now the unwritten, often spoken rule of slam is that the best poet does not always win. So we're going to have to say goodbye to 6 of our poets from the first round, but we're going to give them a round of applause. We're going to give it up for Sri, Deleda. Yeah, we're going to do it then. Sahil, Eliza, and Amelia. So in this round, we're going to go high to low. So it's going to go in this order: Novell, then Jalen, then Gianna. They're going into the next round. Give it up. Give it up. That's awesome. Are you ready for our next round? Okay. From JFK High School, put it together for Novell.
So, this one is called Matriarch. My hands were never big enough to erect a white picket fence. From bottles to backpacks, these hands could only take. My mouth could never form the sounds to say, I'm sorry, or I love you. I could only plead in hushed footsteps to the kitchen that one day we could connect over a meal and smile like they do in pictures. I could only hope that you'd listen to the words that I never said, and that those words that could convince you that I was worth the eye bags and the stretch marks. I can clean broken glass barefoot and sell bottles of water at the park. I can make handmade cards with finger paint and popsicle sticks, but that will never be enough. Because you have 2 mouths to feed and only 2 hands, and my pocket change will never be enough to make the veins leave your forehead. It will never be enough to stop the shouting that they hear through the vents. Hate is a strong word that will only slip from my mouth when steam is pushing through my ears. It is not hate. It is an emotion I could never see. It is every clenched fist or word made of disappointment. It is all the dodged embraces and missed calls when I should have been asleep. Every tear that I wasn't meant to see that showed me that I was only made of void. The fault was never mine, but I will carry it like a child that wasn't meant to exist. I will mirror your smile when you learn the word understanding. When you learn vulnerability. When you learn to apologize to someone who does not have the power to be angry. I will smile, and I will mourn.
Keep it going for Novell, everyone. Okay, so in this round, we're going to tally up the scores, but we're not going to announce them because what's the fun of that? So from lowest to highest, we have a 9.1 and a 9.2 and a 9.4. Let's give it up for our poet. Next up, put it together one more time for Jalen, everyone. From Woodbridge High School, Jalen Rodriguez.
Reasons why I cannot love you. I asked you how you take your coffee. You told me you would rather kiss me on an empty stomach because I was better than caffeine. I hummed because I was too sad to sing. You told me you would rather dance to the sound of my sighs than leave me sitting in silence. I wrote poems about you and all the ways you broke my heart by loving me so perfectly. You told me if I was any more beautiful, the sun would fall and surrender to my light. I walked with my head down because I didn't feel like I deserved to look you in the eye. You told me to look up because my eyes melted like honey in the sun. I looked at you and cried because I could not string words together. You told me even my tears couldn't extinguish the way desire made you burn for me. I leaned toward you and cowered because I thought my tongue tasted too sour. You told me you would kiss me until the only air I was breathing was yours. I screamed my story to you in capital letters to make up for my absence of emotion when telling it. You told me you wished you could touch my heart instead of thinking about what it felt like. I whispered that I loved you because I was too worried I'd scare you away if I yelled it. You told me you would climb to the peak of Everest to scream you love me back and then steal the moon and carry it back down to me. I cannot give you what you can give me.
Keep it going for Jalen Rodriguez. All right, judges, scores from lowest to highest. We have an 8.9, a 9.1, and a 9.6. Applaud the poet. Next up, from Woodbridge High School, Gianna DeMarco.
The heart is a muscle the size of a fist, but your fists left bruises on my skin and irreversible scars on my heart. You broke me down until I was a measly wire of a woman, thin and malleable, but not easily broken. I was resilient as I swam through the months of torture, facing the quick current that your rage became when you tipped the bottle backwards. Why didn't I leave? I could have, right? It was my choice to stay. I longed for the satisfaction of saving myself. I wanted to rescue my soul from the torment and rotting it endured by being with you. You ruined me, and I hated it. I drank you down and got drunk off of you, not knowing you were a thick venom disguised as a good time. So, again they ask why I let you spin my thread on the loom of life. I search for answers, grasping at the puppet strings you've been controlling me with. You dangle my noose over the bottomless pit that you have become as I plummet into you, losing myself at last.
One more time for Gianna. Everyone give it up. Okay, judges, let's see what we got. From lowest to highest, we have an 8.9, a 9.2, and a 9.3. Give it up for the poet. So, please applaud all the poets tonight. All the poets. We have our scores, so we're going to announce. By the way, all three poets in the last round received prizes, so let's give it up for that. That's awesome. But our first place winner from JFK High School, Novell Morris. Second place winner by 1/10 of a point, Jalen Rodriguez. And third place, Gianna. Let's applaud all of our poets. So every poet competing tonight gets a prize also, and Cynthia here at the Barron Arts Center has trivets for everyone. Let's get all the poets and even the judges on stage. We always do a group picture. But I want to say something. This is the first time JFK has won the slam. First time in history. Give it up for that. It's amazing. All right, let's get the poets up here and get a group picture.